Hi, and welcome to 9 to 42, the podcast from the team at the Guitar Show UK. Join us for interviews, updates and chat with artists, influencers and those that manufacture the gear that we love. Hello and welcome to 9 to 42, which is the podcast from the guys at the Guitar Show UK. And after what seems like a century, but in fact is probably about 5 weeks, we're back behind the mic, aren't we, Chase?
We are, and I'm sorry, it's my fault. I've never done the podcast and the guitar show at the same time and realised that I don't have the mental capacity to do both.
You haven't got the bandwidth, have you?
No. Certainly not doing the first guitar show back. It's just one of those funny things, isn't it? One of the worst questions you can ever say to an event organiser is, so what else do you do for the rest of the year? And it's something that drives us all insane. Plan. But of course I came back to work on the 1st of October. So I haven't had a year. And I realised that I do actually need a year to plan this. Or I just have to work really, really long days.
I've not heard from you for like 4 or 5 weeks, other than I've been doing that thing that you're supposed to do with an elderly neighbour. I've been ringing in every few days just to check you're okay, check you're all right for milk.
Yeah.
The heating's on and all those kind of things.
Yeah. It's not been a lot of fun the last month, if I'm perfectly honest. I never knew. There's always problems with events. There's always problems. I just had all of them this year. All of them. It was like whack-a-mole with problems. As soon as I pushed one down, another one pops up, sort of thing. And some of that is the times that we are living in.
Yeah.
But you did.
But
you jumped in and helped me on the Sunday.
Well, I was going to say, don't want to make it sound like it was a downer, because when it came to it, all came together and we had a fantastic 2 days. And if you came to the event, you'll know we had a great couple of days because it really was superb. And those exhibitors that could make it were all fantastic, and all the acts that could make it were fantastic. And I don't mean that in a horrible way. I mean, we lost people to COVID last minute, didn't we?
Yes, we lost Ginger and the Sinners on the Friday. Before we opened on the Saturday, because Ginger had got COVID. It's just one of those things. I'm surprised it was only one act, if I'm perfectly honest.
And we lost some exhibitors as well, didn't we?
Yes.
Same reasons.
Yeah. I mean, COVID had ripped through Gordon Smith, Auden, which was a real shame. It's just one of those things. I'm just delighted that we actually managed to, get it over the line, sort of thing.
And we got it over the line. And do you know what? It's easy for me to say because I'm looking at it slightly more detached than you. It was far more than getting it over the line. It was a great couple of days. Everybody who made it really enjoyed it. All the exhibitors who were able to make it really enjoyed it. All the acts were superb. Everyone on the live stage was fantastic. We had a great couple of days.
Yeah. I know people keep telling me that. I was just sat in an office sorting out problems on a minute-by-minute basis. Certainly that's what it felt like. But the feedback has been amazing, amazing. So I've just spent this week sort of like trying to, sort of like wrap it all up, really. So if you're listening, Ainsley, do you want to send me that bill, mate?
Otherwise, you ain't getting anything.
Yeah.
And by the way, you deserve paying because you were superb.
Yeah, totally,
absolutely superb. So, and while we're there, we need to shout out to Simon Bradley. Who unfortunately was taken ill halfway through the event, but is on the road to recovery now.
Yes.
And we just need to shout out and say, hi Simon, hope you're well, hope you're better than you were. Missed you on the Sunday, particularly me because I kind of got your gig for the day.
Yes, you did. Thank you.
Which I wasn't expecting at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, well, my brain was whirring at 7:30 in the morning in the hotel reception.
Well, I was out running. And by the way, I looked at the map of my run from that morning. And because I'd run out to do a 10K in the morning, and I'd run along the canal basin, or run on the canal. And obviously Birmingham's blessed with canals.
Oh, more than Venice, mate.
Yeah, blessed. you'll always have somewhere you can dump a shopping trolley in Birmingham. And I went out and I ran 3.2 miles and turned round and came back. And when I got back, because I was aiming to do 6.2, when I got back, I'd done 5.8. and which is like, how's that even possible? But actually, I did, and don't ask me how I did this, because a canal is just a thing that you run down. I managed to do a different route out than back.
Excellent, well done.
And I don't know how.
No.
If you look at the map, it's obvious. It's obvious I did a different route. So, for those of you who've never run the canals of Birmingham and thinking about trying it, be careful, because you might not get back to where you started from something as simple as running in one direction, turning around and running back.
That's what Uber's for.
That's exactly what Uber's for. So as you were fretting about Simon, I was on
Lost.
some kind of weird canal thing around the backwaters of Birmingham. Anyway, of course, the slight challenge. Well, I went to record some interviews.
Yes, and you did this one.
I did this one that's coming next with Danish Pete on the Saturday. And then the plan had been I was going to record 2 or 3 on the Sunday.
Yes.
And of course, that all went a little bit when Simon wasn't well, because it was all hands to the pump a little bit. So we've just got the one. We're going to follow up with a couple of the people who were there. We were hoping to speak to Ginger, Ginger and the Sinners actually, but they weren't there. And we were hoping to catch up with a couple of people on the Sunday, but we were all tied up. So it's just this one. So when you listen to this interview, and it's just one I've done, it'll sound like I was aiming to record a few more, and that was the plan. I kind of teed this up as the first, but we'll have to follow up with other people, which we're going to do. I think we're going to try and speak to Billy Watman next, aren't we?
Yes, we're going to speak to him in the next week. So that'll be the next.
And if you caught him on the live stage, he was truly astonishing. Just young, prodigiously talented, handsome, really, really annoying. Actually, why are we talking to him?
Just to make us feel old.
Well, he did that, didn't he?
Old and inadequate.
Yeah. I don't think he quite carried the hat off. I'll drop that in, but I'm going to tell him that when we speak to him. But in the meantime, it's Danish Pete, isn't it?
It is. Before we do that, I've got a shout out to our sponsor of the live stage, Reverb.com. Reverb is the premier online marketplace for musicians looking to buy and sell gear. Stay up to date on the latest releases and hear from the artists that inspire us all. Check them out on Reverb.com. And that's the most corporate thing I've ever done.
You read that, didn't you?
I did read that, yeah.
Yeah. You weren't busking that. That was.
No,
did you feel a bit radio hosty there for a second?
I did a little bit, yeah. But I have to say, I was really, really delighted with Reverb, and I've already had a meeting with them to discuss the Guitar Show 2023 this week. So stay tuned. There'll be more stuff coming from them.
And they are lovely. They are lovely people.
Yeah, Mark's great.
Mark's great, absolutely great. And the platform is great. And it's one of those places I kind of get going down a rabbit hole with. In fact, I keep and obviously we talk about it a lot. I'm after a telly.
Oh,
when the right
God's
telly
sake,
comes,
mate.
I know. You're going to say to me, just buy one, but I've just not found the right one yet. But I end up down these Reverb rabbit holes looking at Telecasters.
You do. You do.
I do.
And I keep tagging you into posts and stuff.
I know. The only thing I would say, and if Gary Chapman of Fair Deal's listening, apologies, Gary, but had I not been drafted in to do the to do the live stage on Sunday, I probably would have bought that Acoustasonic.
Well, you don't need that. You just need a Telecaster.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah. I don't need it, Gary. Don't ring me. I don't need it. He probably flogged it anyway, knowing Gary. He wouldn't have taken anything home. Right, let's get to Danish Pete.
Before we go...
oh, yes.
We have to thank our sponsor, Focusrite.
Oh, we're not coming back at the end to do a little wrap-up?
Oh, we could do a little wrap-up at the end.
Should we do that? And then we split in the sponsor things.
Okay.
A bit more pro-end. That.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah? Have they given you something to read as well?
No.
All right, okay. So it'll be the normal kind of kerfuffle but with it for Focusrite.
Yeah.
Well, we'll come back and we'll do Focusrite after you've listened to Danish Pete, and you will hear the show in the background. For any of you who are there, it's a noisy old affair. So even though we're in a separate room, you will still hear stuff going on in the background, because that's the nature of the amazing experience that the Guitar Show is. Right. Anything else to add, Jace, before we go into it?
Just thanks for coming if you were there.
Yes, I second that. Run VT. Hello and welcome to a special edition of 942. I'm flying solo. Jace isn't here. Jace is actually out behind the other side of that door, which you can't see, and I'm pointing to it. I don't know why. And he's out working because we're actually in the middle of the guitar show. It's day one of the guitar show. So we're on the 7th of May. And I'm recording a few little interview snippets with people who are around and about. And I've grabbed Danish Pete.
Hello. It was a nice grab as well.
It was a good grab, wasn't it?
It was a good grab,
yeah. Thank you. For a little bit of a chat. And Pete's got no idea what we do on the podcast. So he's going to be a new fan, and he's going to be telling all of his friends from now on in.
Post it everywhere and tell everybody about it.
Indeed, but it's his first time. He's not quite sure what we do, so we'll take it through it gently. But it's just it's great. And the first thing before we start, it's great to be back at the guitar show, and it's great to have people outside. And to everybody who's listening, who's been and visited, when you hear this, thank you very much for coming along, because it's lovely to see so many people. And the room is full, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good. There's a good vibe, and people are happy, and they're walking around, and it was almost like COVID never happened.
Do you know what? It's exactly
that. It's that feeling that people are together and just hanging out and looking at guitars and chatting and all that stuff there was before. It seems to be like that today, which is nice to see.
And I was worried, I guess even back at, do you know what, even at Christmas, I was concerned as to whether people would want to come and do this the way they're doing it.
Yeah.
But everybody does seem very, very...
Yeah, I can imagine there's still some people that are staying home, maybe they have loved ones or whatever, family members that are a bit sort of, that has to be isolated still for some reason, and I can understand that, but it is also just nice to get out, isn't it? What was the last time it was a show? That was NAMM maybe 3 years ago.
Maybe 2 years ago. Yeah. Maybe 2 years ago, the last one.
And I was here, but that must have been 10 years ago or something at this show. But it's nice to see people, and there's not, there's not that vibe that everybody's staying away from each other. It just seems like, let's just have a good time. Yeah. And if I have COVID tomorrow, I'll take it, because And I think, it was going to be worth it,
Well, and I think there's a bit of that. I mean, I had COVID in February.
Yeah.
And it wasn't nice, but it wasn't the end of the world.
No.
And I think a lot of people probably have had it, and probably thinking, do you know what? If that happens again, it's a few days. It is what it is. Yeah. But I'm not stopping my life for that. And to be fair, that's probably down to the vaccine, because I've been triple vaxxed. So when I got it, I don't know what it would have been like if I'd not been vaccinated.
But that's the thing, isn't it? I've had my vaccines as well. But I think in March, when it all kicked off, I think I had it because I was really, really ill, and I had I couldn't walk up the stairs with catching my breath. But it was funny, because then I called up the doctor, because it was not really a thing yet. It was just in the beginning. Oh, COVID, have you got COVID? So I called up the doctor and went through the whole thing, and he was like, have you got veins on your legs? And no. Are you peeing blood? No. And there was all this question, have you got a fever? I didn't have a fever at the time. So it's like, it's probably just a influenza or something. But I'm positive I had it, because it was like 5 days where I could hardly breathe at all, But they didn't seem to be a thing. So, I still went to do milk and stuff, because it was like, you don't have it, fine. We didn't know what was going on. So I think I had it way back then. But since then, my whole family, all the girls have had it, and I'm like, when can I get it so I can get a couple of days off work, man?
Well, one of the things, what we normally do, one of the things we start with is we start by saying to people, well, what have you done through COVID? Because for most people, it's really affected their working life, particularly people who do a lot of gigging. And a lot of musicians are reliant on the gigging for the and obviously loads of musicians have recorded material, and they've made sure they've got new material and this and the other.
Yeah.
But has it affected you in the same way? Because you kind of will have been able to carry on doing a lot of what you do.
Yeah, no, I used to tour, so my last big tour was in 2015, which was a stadium tour in Germany with a German artist called Helene Fischer, sort of the queen of Schlager over there. So she's huge over there, but of course she's singing in German, so not many people know her from German-speaking countries. But I had a daughter, and I was in a hotel. I witnessed the birth on FaceTime in a hotel in Düsseldorf, and it was like a bell. It was like a moment. It was like, you have to just try to not be away so much and go home and enjoy family. Anyway, and then Lee came and said, do you want to do this YouTube channel? So I was really lucky when COVID hit that I had the Andertons gig.
Yeah.
Because that's a full-time gig for me to do that YouTube channel. And you know, that came just after I came back. Do you want to do... We got this YouTube channel, we don't know what to do with it. There's 40,000 subscribers, or 50 or whatever much there was. Would you be, you know, interested in doing something with this channel for me, Lee asked. And I was like, yeah, okay. And he was like, I'll pay you a salary, you know. And I was like, a salary? Every month, you mean? It's like, absolutely, you know. So I just jumped on it and, you know, put everything into it from day one, you know. And yeah, so I was really, really, really lucky to have that through COVID, because we didn't stop at all, you know. We managed to make we got this house which is converted into studios, and we managed to do upstairs, downstairs. So Lee was sitting upstairs and I was sitting downstairs, and we kept away from each other, and we turned the cameras on, and we made it so we could see each other on each monitors, and we could hear each other in headphones, and we could play and record it all through aux boxes and master, all that stuff, you know, to expander. And so it turned out really well. There seemed to be this surge when everybody was home, and people, it was almost like I wanted to learn to play an instrument for a long time, and now I'm home and I'm still getting paid, so I'm just going to buy a guitar or bass or whatever it was. You know, the whole, that side of the music and my industry sold, you know, everybody sold so much gear, you know. So we actually was told not to do any videos for a while, because normally when we do, they sell more stuff, you know, and they couldn't keep up with it because there was a shortage at the warehouse and all sorts of whatever. But yeah, so it was just been full on for us. It's not stopped for the last 2 years, you know. So which is, for me, you know, I've been very lucky to have that, because if I was still a musician, you know, with 3 kids and everything there is, and cars and, you know, everything, I would have, you know, I don't know what I would have done.
No, because like I say, just a complete drop off of revenue.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're...
I feel for all the people, and lots of my friends just lost overnight, you know, whether they be backline techs or whatever, they just lost all the work, and they just went away. And, you know, there's been a lot of people not being able to cope with it. There's people that lost, you know, took their own lives because of it. You know, it's not been, in the industry, it's been really tough for a lot of people. You know, a lot of people create a company, which means that they weren't liable for the government's schemes and the grants and all that stuff, which means that then I've lost all my work, and I set up this company because it was easier for this and that and tax and VAT or whatever, and now I just can't get any help, you know. So, you know, losing houses and families and all sorts of stuff, you know. So I've been lucky. It's taken a toll on my family as well, because having the kids home and homeschooling, and, you know, because that, you know, it's just life things, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, we all had that. I mean, we all had that thing of the kids are, you know, pretty much, I mean, let's face it, over 18 months, they were home for like 9 months.
Yep.
So but at least you had the revenue coming in, at least you had something to do, at least you were being productive.
I've been busy through the whole thing, you know, I'm probably more busy than, well, I say, it's never not stopped with that channel, you know, it's been full on from the beginning, you know, so...
we seem to have got the feel of it has been right from the get-go. People have bought into you.
Yeah.
You know, they've bought it. I mean, it's funny because I've known Lee more years than I care to remember.
Yeah.
And it's strange because a load of people know Lee as the captain. Of course, to me, he's Lee because he was always Lee when I've known him for about 20 years. And but those personas that have been built up. Yeah. And there's so much warmth towards what you do.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of, you know, I mean, I never set out to become somebody who is is an influencer, because I hate that word, or a YouTube celebrity, or, you know, because that's not.
Well, it's not even YouTube. It's YouTuber, isn't it?
YouTuber, but I'm a guitar player, and I have been for a long time, and a lot of people don't even realise that I've done world tours with big acts and stuff, you know, and done European tours and Scandinavian tours, and I've done lots of touring in my life, you know, 25 years of it. So I come from another side, and I just want to be on YouTube, or I just want to be on Instagram. And I think that's certainly helped that, you know, I'm just lucky to play my guitar. And I think the people that we surround ourselves with, you know, Rob and Lee, you know, started that whole thing 10 years ago, where Rob, like, I'm going to do some stuff on YouTube for you, and, you know, let's see what it, and then 10 people watched it, and it was like, oh my God, 10 people have watched it, you know. And And then it's just that was Rob was essentially one of the pioneers in all of that stuff. You know, whether you like him or not, or like what he does or not. You know, as he says, I'd rather have 50 people that hate me than 50 people that love me than 100 people that never heard of me.
Yeah.
Because and that's such a good saying, because in that industry, at least the 100 people know you, you know, and they might buy something and they might not, you know. Luckily, I'm not in it to, because Lee paid me salary, so I'm not in it to go, here's how much money it is for the videos, and now say something nice about it, or, you know, we can essentially say what we will to a certain degree. You know, I'm not going to slag anything off, but I can say, oh, I don't necessarily like that that's like that, and why couldn't I have done that, you know, but this is good and stuff, so you can have an opinion on it, and I think that's definitely also helped. And then the personalities, we just, how we are, you know. Rob is who he is, and I'm who Lee is, you know. And it's a nice little vibe, you know. The beer is lovely, and we get some good playing in, and we're trying to get, I mean, when we started, it was just like, let's do Andertons TV. Let's call it Andertons TV. Let's have shows. Let's have all about the bass. Let's have acoustic parodies. So that was all the stuff. The acoustic show, bass show, an electric show, drum show, keyboard show, and all that stuff. And that's how we lined it up when me and Lee sat down and started, you know. So people can watch evergreen stuff anytime they want. They don't have to see it on the day, you know. And we did do 2 videos a day at one point, but it was just all too much, you know.
Yeah. It's funny because I look at it. You've got to be of a certain age of this, but I watch it, and it's like there's a real warm nod towards, of all things, Wayne's World. When I look at it, I see you and I see Lee, and I kind of get a little bit of flash of of Wayne and Garth, but in a really nice way, in an affectionate way. I don't mean in a, you know, but it's because it's just honest. It's just honest. It's what it is.
We're having a good time.
And you're having a good time.
Yeah. I mean, we do cut a lot of stuff out that we can't say. That we can't, you know. It could probably be the last video you'll ever set live before you hand the shop keys over to the next person. It was like, oh my God, I didn't say that about people or about things, you know. But we get on really well, and I think the vibe is good, and I think we realise that we get to play really nice guitars and make people smile and inspire people to play. Because when I see, you know, a youngster, you know, teenager or whatever, has bought a purple Squire classic vibe, you know, I was like, I play it every day and it's amazing and I love it, and you made us picked up the guitar, you kept us through COVID, you kept me sane, or, you know, all that different stuff. It's just really good to hear. And if you can inspire just one person when you do one video, what's not to like? That's what it is, isn't it?
I know. It's funny because when I was at Shaw, Mary Spender came to work. She came to work, you know, for me within the department within the I was working for, and the first time I met Mary, I just thought, we need to get her, and I need to be working with her. She's absolutely great. She's got a great take on the world. But I think Mary would agree that her route was different. She wasn't a gigging musician to quite that extent. She used to open mics. She was a singer-songwriter. Yeah. But she'd not done the things you'd done. So her path was very definite towards YouTube and Instagram. That's how she plotted her path. Yeah. And like you say, yours is different. You know, you're a musician first, and almost an accidental YouTuber or an accidental influence. I don't mean that in a horrible way.
No, but it's completely accidental, because I didn't realise, you know, I had no idea what it would become, this thing. I mean, it's, you know, you can see YouTube channels out there or Instagrammers out there with millions and millions and millions of followers and subscribers and stuff, you know, but what we do as a music shop, and what are we hitting soon, 700,000 subscribers, whatever, but it's not really about the subscribers, and it's not really about the views for Andertons, and I think that's the refreshing thing. We don't, you know, it's not like we just do it. It's more, if we do a video on a thing, it doesn't matter if you sell that thing. It matters that, you know, you can sell another thing. It's you know what I mean. It's not about that. It's about us having fun, and we try to have fun every single time when we do a video. It's more important that it's something that inspires us to do a good video and it comes across well. Because otherwise, what's the point in it? You know. Yeah. And it became all organic. As I said, I didn't set out to be any of this stuff, and it was never my intention. It was just I just wanted a job that paid me my rent for. You know what I mean? That was because I wanted to take a little break and I just went in on it, let's just do it. And I was on my own, and I put the cameras up. I had no idea. My father-in-law is a director, so I had to call him up and ask some, how do I set the lights up? And then I talked to Mick Taylor, and he helped upset some camera settings, and and I probably just kept it the same ever since to a certain degree. And it's not about all. It's not about, you could film it on on an iPhone, or it doesn't matter if the content you put out and the people that are in the video comes across in a good way, then people will watch it, and they'll come back to watch it. So, and I think Rob and Lee did have there's a magic thing with the two people, like Mick and Dan. There's a magic thing that comes across when there's two people talking about something, where there's opinions, and it's almost like it goes out and hit, and you have this straight path right through from beginning and end of the video, but then it just circles out and comes in and goes back in, and that whole sort of S type thing. That's where the magic is. You doesn't have to talk about the product for more than 10 minutes, where the last half an hour can be waffle about other things, and that only comes if the people are, friends, or they click well, and have a good personality. Then you can,
Yeah, and you mentioned, Lee and Rob there.
Yeah.
But Lee and Rob are not actually people who, in my mind, are that similar. So I've known Lee for a lot of years as being, a very sensible, known him from a business background, knew him when he was buying guitars for Andertons, and is a very sensible...
Savings and mortgage and all that stuff. The whole thing.
That's Lee.
Yeah.
And I know Lee, and I know his family, and that's me. And yet the first time I met Rob, Rob was falling out of and I reminded him of this story when we talked on the podcast, he was falling out of a rental convertible on his way to the NAMM show.
Yeah.
And the music was blaring in this car, and he was every inch, the rock star or the YouTuber.
Yeah.
He had everything. He had the personality and everything at that point in time, and nobody knew who he was.
Yeah.
But he was
exactly.
But he was living. He was always living.
Yeah.
He was always. And you look at Lee and Rob, and you go, well, when they're together, you just get this thing, and you think, well, they are quite different people.
Opposites attract, don't they? And I think the same goes for people like me and Lee, for that matter, and when me and
so I can imagine
Taylor
you and Lee talking about mortgages and savings.
Well, not really. I am more the other musician type who still owes the taxman money for the gigs I've done 10 years ago. Because that was so I am still the useless musician, and. If there's one advice you can give to people that want to go on tour, is just put the money aside for the tax.
Pay the tax.
Pay the tax.
Yeah.
Because it will come and bite you. End of story. And it does.
I'm going to underline that, because I've just done my tax return.
Yeah.
And I'm going to underline that. Make sure you leave the money for the tax.
And I'm still not great at it. I'm still not good at it. And I just wanted to get away from that for a while. But so we are similar, but we are different. I mean, he's still from I've bounced about and I've done all the touring and all that stuff, but Lee has not. He's still in a different world, but we're in the same world, because we're in the world of music, and music is important. Music is what keeps the world going, and it's what keeps us sane. If we have depression, picking guitar up, music can invoke emotions from happiness to sadness to joy, and it can do anything, and it's all different from different people, and music can make a film scary, or it can make it not scary, or it can make it, it's all about music at the end of the day, whether you like classical or not, or you hear violin or cello just chime in with one little note like that, it can make my hair stand up on the arms. Whitney Houston singing, I want to run to you, and I'll start crying. Music is just so important to the world, man. If somebody would just play some nice music at Putin, maybe you can, but it can change people's minds in a heartbeat. And I think it's so important for people to realise that's you can heal the world. I mean, not to quote Michael Jackson, but a good song is a good song.
I totally agree.
Yeah. It's deep. We're getting deep now.
Well, yeah. Let's shift it a little bit, because Jason wandered into the office and said, Danish Pete, he'll have a chat for the podcast. He's on the Monty stand. Go and find him. And then he said to me, you'd said to him that you'd been to go to the bathroom, and it had taken you half an hour to go for a piss.
Yeah.
Now, and of course, the first thing I was concerned about was your prostate. But I think but what you were driving at was put yourself in an environment like this. Of course, everybody knows you.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's nice, because all we see is the red lights on the cameras, and then, we'll do the edits and stuff, and then we'll upload it, and then we'll see some numbers, and we don't see who's watching it. We're not really in touch with, especially not the last 2 years, and it's gotten more and more popular as it goes on, we get 3-4 million views a month on our videos, and, it's almost like a stadium watches a video every time you put one out. It's a stadium show for someone, which if you think about it like that, that's a lot of people. But
that's the same. That's primetime TV show numbers.
But yeah. No, we get more views than some small TV show channels. Absolutely, and it's not just, it's every country in the world. I remember going through the country list in the YouTube analytics thing, and even like somewhere like Togo, you'll have one view of some person who's watched the video, and you're like, it's insane. And YouTube is great for everything. I use it for myself. If I need to fix the car, or do something, or new hose pipe, or whatever it might be, or a kitchen sink, or it's beautiful. I love it.
I get emails through for I do another podcast that's just me, and it's just me ranting basically, and I get these emails through that tell me that I was number 42 in the mental health chart in Botswana.
Yeah,
and it's one listen.
Yeah,
because that's all it needs to be.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think to myself, who's listening to my podcast in Botswana?
Yeah, but why not?
Well, no, but what? But well, how? How did they chance upon?
Yeah, but that's the beauty of it, isn't it? It's just if it's a good thing, it'll go out there. People will. If you build it, they will come.
Yeah,
it's that kind of thing. And if you have, that's why some people are. It's like actors. Why is he that? Why is that guy the biggest actor in the world? Because he's just got something about him. That's all. That's it. There's always something about people. Everybody's got something they're good at. I do believe. I know Rob says, there's no such thing as a talent if you just practice enough guitar. But I do believe that some people have got a talent. I think everybody's got a talent for something. Because I just picked the guitar up and could play it, and I've sort of found it like there it is.
And I think what I'll counter there with Rob is best guitarist I've ever. In fact, I'll tell you what. I'll ask you the question: best guitarist you've ever seen play live?
I've seen lots of great guitar players play live. I wouldn't say the best. I mean,
the one that knocked you out. Then I'm only saying this because I've got an answer.
I saw Prince, and
I'm going to give you the same answer. Yeah. I'm going to tell you that I think Prince is probably the most naturally talented guitar player I ever saw play live.
Yeah. But he's naturally his musicianship and his joy for music shines through when he plays any instrument, and I think that's what people kind of forget. You forget that actually is. I see a lot of people like I just want to be on Instagram. I want to be an Instagram guitar player. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
But if you want to be a musician, you have to go and play with people. You have to interact musically with a drummer and another guitar. You have to bass player, and you have to have that. Why is he? I want to do 2 guitar players in this band. I don't want to be 2 guitar players, but you have to have that to actually move on and be better. And you have to go. I can do that, but you're not doing it, are you? So just wait, just get back in line and wait. I know you can do it, but just don't say anything. Just wait patiently and be nice. We've all been there. Like that son. There's a story that I like to use, like a joke, if you will. It's like. There's a hill, right? Beautiful hilly countryside down Somerset. There's a son bull and his dad bull standing on the hill there, and they're looking down in the valley. It's full of cows down here in this valley. And the son goes, Dad, come on, let's run down and F one of these cows, And the dad bull goes, no, son, tell you what, let's walk down there and do them all. It's such the analogy of that is like, it'll be, you'll get there, and when you get there, it'll be amazing, and it's much better than you think it's going to be. You don't need to rush into anything, And I love that story. I can't remember who told me that story, But
the reason for the Prince thing was, and that story's kind of knocked me off kilter there. You did very well there. You knocked me right off. It was to counter the Rob thing.
Yeah.
In terms of, there was definitely something natural with what Prince had.
Yeah. And there are some people that just has some kind of talent for it. You cannot say that a 3-year-old kid just sits up to a piano and goes flute and play some ridiculous Mozart stuff.
And that's not practice.
It's not. That's just a natural ingrown. Whether we can talk about was he was he a piano player in his previous life, or was he?
Which is interesting. Yeah.
Which is an interesting thing, because I do there is that thing about, I do believe everything happens for a reason, good or bad. And you have to go with it, and it'll take you to the next place where you actually should have been, and that's why in life it's just, it's not pre-planned, but there is certainly things that will do that. And are we, I'm looking at my dogs just going, he's lying there on the floor, they're not here for a long time, and they must just have evolved from learning the trades of life, going through all of these emotions and all of these characters and all of these people to eventually go, you've done it now, you made it, now you can be a dog and you can just relax and go for walks and, sit in the garden and get fed. Is that the end game? Is that the epic where our soul needs to just be a dog just lying around not doing anything? But you know what I mean? So I think that could be a thing. I don't know. I mean,
well, maybe you may be a long way there. Maybe this leg. This shift you've put in now has got you closer to dog.
Maybe, but it's those films, isn't it? What's the one with Tom Cruise where you have to do the same thing over and over again?
Yes. Yes, Edge of Tomorrow.
There's some of those kind of. There's another one on with Chris Pratt or whatever, and there's a couple of those things like Groundhog Day with Bill Murray. Yeah, and he has to wake up and he has to do the same thing until he gets everything right. He doesn't move on in the game. The next level is not happening. Is that what we're doing? Is that the Matrix? I don't know. I'm just happy to be here.
Every time I try and lighten it, you take it deep again.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you got me started.
Well, yeah. Back to light then. You're on. Yeah. I grabbed you off the Montes stuff. Yeah. So what are you doing with Montes?
Well, I've got a signature set of pickups, which stemmed from my Purple Telecaster, which also just, for some reason, just made a huge impact in just the guitar community, and it wasn't a thing that was done on purpose, or it wasn't a planned thing. It was just like the guitar just happened to be purple, and that just made everybody want that. But it had a set of pickups in it. It was a twisted telly in the neck and a no-cast and the bridge, and everybody was going, can we get that set? And you can't buy that set unless you order it in a custom shop guitar from Fender, right? Or you buy two sets, and you throw half of it away. So we spoke to Montes, and everybody's asking, could we have a set of those? And you couldn't buy it. So he took the pickups out and he measured them and looked at the chords and everything, and they were slightly different actually from what they said they were. So he recreated them, and now I understand, and it sounds great, and I have them in my guitar, and I love them. So
and that's the other side, because right, I don't mean to be offensive when I say what I'm going to say next, but you could have carried on doing what you were doing as a musician, and never had a signature.
Absolutely.
Set.
In nobody knew who I was. I'm in the background on most of the gigs, standing in the dark, and maybe had a solo to walk out on, or whatever. Never got anything for free. Maybe strings occasionally, whatever, or picks or something, and maybe occasionally, you got a guitar, whatever, if it was a big tour, but nothing like it is now, And I'm grateful for that, but I never did it for that. I'm not doing...
No, and I wasn't suggesting you had.
No. But and some people do, and some people think that I'm going to go in there, and then I'm going to start a YouTube channel, and I'm going to get lots of free stuff, It's taken me 7 years to get to where we are now with the Andertons channel, and I've worked every day, and I've edited videos at 11 o'clock at night to make sure that they can go out the next day, In the beginning, I did all of it, descriptions and thumbnails and all that stuff,
And people forget that. I mean, knowing from the podcast as well, you sit and you record a conversation, and then there's a load of editing, and then there's a load of messing about, and then and often there's a rescue because you didn't realise that your level was too high, too low, and you're messing about with all sorts of things. I mean, I don't know. This is a lively room, and we might have to try and see if we can dampen down some of the reverb in here and this. But you find yourself doing that, and then, like you say, you're writing the notes and you're sorting the imagery and you're doing all the edits and the bits and pieces, and people don't see that.
No, the behind the scenes. No, I can imagine a lot of people just think I'm in the videos.
Yeah,
but I actually
then you go back to your trailer.
Yeah, exactly. Or I go back and work in the shop, but actually I edit it. I arrange everything, all the gear come in, I make sure that, and I'm in there from 7 to 8 every day, I edit it or whatever. But and that's what most YouTubers do, because you have to.
There's a lot of work.
There's a lot of work in it, and
there's a lot of content.
It's a lot of content. We do one video every day. You know?
Yeah.
We got 3 channels going. You know,
and the only way you get to that size is to because people. Thing is, it's you put 10 videos out, you don't get anywhere. You put 100 videos out, then fine, you've got a following, but that's 100 videos.
Yeah, that's 100 videos
to edit, to script.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, you don't script anything.
Well, no, but you know what I mean. You have an idea of what you're going to talk about.
I mean, I think the beauty also of what we do is that there are, maybe 1 in a million we'll do a little sort of script if we've got an epic deal video where we have to say something. Otherwise, it's and the products majority of the time we haven't plugged them in until to get the real,
instant experience.
It's just what is happening and what is it. This is the amp. Don't turn it on yet. Let's see what happens. Yeah. If it's really like, oh my god, we don't know what to do with that, then we'll start again and we'll make sure that we know what we're doing. But otherwise, that whole sort of thing where it's just more genuine. That's so important, and it comes through. You can see that.
All right, with that, and again, coming back to where I started, if it wasn't so honest and so genuine, you wouldn't have the following. You wouldn't have people.
I think you're right.
The advantage is if you needed to the bathroom, you'd be able to get there a lot quicker. But
that's what we were talking about originally, wasn't it?
Yeah, but outside of that,
but I don't mind that. It's nice to see people. As I said, we don't see people. We don't get people to talk to people. So it's really nice to actually see that there is actually people watching.
Yeah, and when you're a musician, you interact with an audience.
Yeah, there's an audience,
and that as musicians, that's the bit we miss. I mean, if you've always been a TV or a film star, you've never interacted with an audience.
No.
It's never been part of what you do.
I couldn't even imagine what it was like to be like, at the moment, Johnny Depp, for instance. Yeah. I mean, my God, you wouldn't walk down the street without people shouting at you all the time.
No.
No.
Anyway, we need to wrap up. I've kept you for far too long, but thank you very much for your time. What's next? Or is it more of the same? Have you got anything else mapped out? Is there anything secret you can tell us about?
There's probably something secret I can't tell you about, but I want to try to do. It's more the same, I've tried. It's funny because I do all these videos for Andertons. I want to do my own thing, but it's when you do 4 videos in a day, and then the last thing you want to do in the evening is do more
video.
But I've sort of tried to. I want to try to do more of my own thing, just like be on a podcast here and there, and do maybe the occasional more video on my own channel. And then I would love to try to do an EP or something. This year.
I was going to say, is there some music at some point?
Because I miss the touring because it's a special thing. And when you're lucky enough to try to have done it like I have, I'm really lucky to meet the right people at the right time and get to travel the world and play with some amazing artists. And I would love to do it again if it's the right thing. I mean, I've got a couple of guys. We just play cover songs and we go and play weddings and stuff, and it's so much fun.
Yeah.
And I love playing live. So if anybody's out there that needs a guitar player, you can call at some point. But I would love to go out on tour again at some point.
Oh, it'll happen. It'll happen. It's coming back. There's no doubt it's coming back.
Absolutely.
I mean, you've only got to look at the number of gigs that are going on at the moment. It's absolutely coming, and there's a huge appetite for it. Absolutely. And we've only got to look at outside, and the noise level's just about to turn up because we have half an hour on, half an hour off, and it's just about to get loud again.
That's what it is.
But you can tell from outside, people just want to get out and interact. So I think, you'll be.
We need it, man. It's a human right to interact with each other. We have to interact. I think,
Well, see if you can get yourself on the Billy Joel tour, because I haven't seen Billy Joel for a while, and then you can sort me out some tickets.
Yeah,
that'd be absolutely great.
Yeah, I'll do that. I remember playing his when I went to the academy. It was like, I had to play a Billy Joel song. What is it? Since that year where you are. That was my piano.
Just where you are.
That's my piano exam song. Singing and playing that. So that was fun. That's about 35 years ago now.
And nobody knew that. You heard it here first, folks. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Pete, it's been an absolute joy. Thank you very much for the time, and we'll catch up soon.
Absolutely.
And that was Danish Pete. What a lovely fella.
Yeah, he's lovely. I've met him a few times. The first time I met him was at NAMM. Now in 2019. 2019, I think, the first time I met him. He was with the Captain. Like you, I've known Lee for a very long time.
I can't call him the Captain.
No.
I just can't.
It was ever so odd. We were on an escalator going up to what I assume was the Fender room or, whatever.
Just going up.
It's like going up.
It's like the line from Ghostbusters. Where's the escalator go? It goes up, Ray.
Yeah. And we got to the top of the escalator and we were just chatting. And Lee got asked for his autograph, at which point I made a sharp exit because that was the weirdest thing I'd ever seen.
That's strange when that happens. I've been with Mary when that's happened, and it's odd.
Yeah,
because you've just been having breakfast with somebody who's clearly hungover from the night before, and then somebody asks for an autograph. It's odd.
It's never happened to me.
It's never happened to me either.
Well, you never know. This podcast might go global one day. Well, it is global, but stellar.
Yeah, did I tell you that my other one, my one, keeps dropping in and out of the mental health chart in Botswana?
Oh, it's mad, isn't it? I was on my Spotify artist page the other day. I was just like sat idly one afternoon and I flicked it open, and 2 people were listening, and one of them was in Quebec, and you're like, that's just mad. It is mad.
Makes no sense whatsoever.
Welcome to the globalisation of recorded industry.
Unless, of course, it's one of those like Mission Impossible things where they're bouncing off satellites and really they're listening in Dudley.
Well, possibly. They don't want to admit they're listening to me. So they bounce off several satellites.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there anybody in Dudley who has that ability?
You leave Dudley alone.
Do you what? Should we say thank you to Focusrite?
Yes, we should say thank you to Focusrite. Thank you to Luke and Rich for your ongoing support. I really do appreciate it. And thank you for signing up for 12 months of sponsorship. This is made using a Scarlett 2i2.
Only because they haven't supplied us with a new interface yet.
Well, we're working on that.
Yeah.
They're great.
Oh, have we let the cat out of the bag again?
Yeah, possibly. They are great. They're really nice people to work with, and their products work, and that's all you want, really.
It is exactly what you want, and they are lovely. And do you know what? They were superb at the show as well.
They were.
With Aziz and Mike
and Chris.
Chris Book on their stand. Some really interesting stuff. And it's a reminder that there's if you come to the guitar event, and you might primarily you might be coming for guitars or pedals or amps or what have you, but we all do bits of recording, we all do stuff, we all mess about, at home and in little studios, and those guys really understand guitar players.
They do. In the box down here at my feet is my old Yamaha 4-track, which I have no use for anymore. No. I can just plug straight in to my laptop, and I do, via my Line 6 HX Stomp. There you go, Yamaha. You got a free shout out there. You didn't even do the show this year.
Wow. Right. Yes. So thanks, folks. Right. Lovely people. In fact, you know what? We could also say, because me and you are going to the podcasting show next week, aren't we?
We are, yeah.
The reluctant podcaster is going to the podcasting show.
I'm only doing it so I can have a day out in London with you.
Yeah. We are. Well, we're overdue, aren't we?
Yeah.
But Focusrite will be there as well.
Yes.
So if you even thought about the fact you'd like to do a podcast or might be interested, podcast show in London next week, Wednesday, Thursday, Focusrite going to be there. Boom, we'll give Focusrite a little plug for that as well.
Yes, and Marshall.
Yeah.
Weirdly. Don't know what Marshall are doing, but I'll find out.
Right. I will see you next time.
It's unfortunately, I'll see you next Wednesday, which doesn't really work.
No. See, had we have chosen to go Thursday...
I love this, because every time I leave BIM, because I work for them on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'll say, see you next Tuesday, see you next Thursday. Works both ways.
It's so juvenile. Well, I'll see you next Wednesday.
Yeah.
And folks, you'll hear from us again when we've spoken to Billy. And you know what? It's just nice to be back, isn't it?
It is.
Perfect. Right. I'll see you soon. Thanks for listening to 9 to 42, the podcast from the team at the Guitar Show UK. If you've enjoyed the show, then please remember to hit the subscribe button and share with other like-minded souls. For more information about 9 to 42, please follow us on Facebook, Twitter or Instagram at the Guitar Show UK. This has been an A Short Stories production.